James, first of all, any injury news, any team news ahead of this one against Maidenhead?
Morning, Rob. No, look, everyone's come through okay. Really pleasing afternoon in terms of Kwasi coming back from that and getting 65. Jeff King looking stronger after his knee injury. So yeah, we're in a good position, and the sub's done well as well. So we're in a lot healthier position than where we were in November.
Is there any news on Gavin Gunning and Calvin Miller?
Yeah, Gavin took a real bad knock against King's Lynn and it didn't swell, and then after the Chelsea game he took another knock on the same area and it swelled up, so we scanned him. We're waiting for the scan results still. I think there's been an illness in the radiology department in the hospital, which is bad luck, so we're waiting for the results still. Hopefully get that this morning on Gavin, and hopefully it's good news and he can come back into training. And what was the other one, Rob? What was the other player? Calvin Miller, yeah, his ankles swelled up. It was a bit of a risk to start him, but also Alex has been struggling with a groin as well. So the lesser of the two risks was Calvin starting and Alex coming on. Calvin should be available for selection, and so should Alex.
How would you assess the way that you played at Barnet, moving on so quickly from Chelsea and then to get a win like that?
Yeah, really impressive. I think, again, it was a really strong second half performance as it was at Chelsea. We put ourselves in a position to win the game by not conceding when they had the lion's share of territory at the back end of the first half. But you have to sometimes realise that other clubs or other teams we play are going to throw some punches and have a game plan themselves. We didn't take our chances midway through the first half. We had 2, probably 3 clear-cut chances we should score. And then you let them in for a little bit of pressure at the end of the first half. We got through that. We defended our 18-yard box reasonably well, restricted them to no shots on target, really. And then the second half, we started like we mean business. And when the first goal went in, we certainly went for the kill and got 2, 3, 4.
You're at the halfway point of the National League season now. How do you think the promotion race is shaping up?
It's exciting. I think that it's a great advert for the National League in terms of the professionalism. I think I've been at this level now 5 years as an assistant, as a manager. I think this is the strongest it's been. So that says good things about the Vanarama National League in terms of the direction it's going. More finances, bigger attendances, bigger squads, more quality in those squads, dropping down from higher levels as well. It's gearing up to be a great second half of the season, and I'm really pleased that we're in the shape to looking upwards rather than downwards.
And seeing some of the scenes and the shots of the away fans at Barnet and off the back of the 6,000 at Chelsea, it feels like momentum is just continuing to build for your team. Do you get that sense as well?
I do. The training's been really at a high level. It takes time to get a culture shift consistently. So yes, we were training well after a few months of my tenure here, but it takes time for the staff and the players to build relationships again in the summer when we recruited some more players, and that takes time to get that consistency with suspensions, injuries, etc. And the group's really coming together strongly now, and I'm really enjoying training. I think they're training to a real level. They're taking individual responsibility every day. So autonomy is a big thing in our culture, and they're showing that by doing extras themselves. Often form can be built when no one's watching, and that's certainly happening here.
How pleased are you to see Asante back healthy and scoring goals?
Yeah, I think it was really important. However he scored, it rebounded to him, but he's in the right place at the right time, and you can't teach that. And he was there to bang it in, and really great moment. I felt really pleased for him. Yes, he scored at Chelsea, which is an important goal for his comeback as well, but to do it in the league under that pressure as well, when it was 1-0 and it was there to be scored, he done it. And I think the way the fans and him came together, I think it was a great feeling for Kwasi, and just shows again that hard work pays off, because he's still 3 weeks ahead of where he should be. Shouldn't be on the pitch at the moment, so it's credit to himself and his professionalism.
How would you assess the potential partnership between he and Shimanga, and given how both players have played so well for you?
I think they can improve. I think there can be more links and more combinations. However, in their own individual work, they cause mayhem in the second half, because they're both talented lads and both bring different attributes to the game. I think that it looks like it's the beginning of a good relationship in terms of their movements. But again, we want to improve and increase the amount of combinations as well, because I think they can be even more ruthless when they start working together more in tandem, and that takes time. That's sometimes an organic relationship in terms of the relationship where their movements, etc., help each other and they can dovetail properly. So it definitely has the makings of a really good partnership.
When you have a quick turnaround like this and 2 long away trips as well, how do you approach this as a manager?
Yeah, we're obviously on the road again tomorrow, but the best way to approach it is making sure when you come into a big week of 3 games, to win 3, you have to win the first one. So we've won the first one, now we're on to Maidenhead. As soon as we've gotten the coach, we're analysing the best we can, enjoying the moment because it's a great performance, but also thinking, okay, who needs to train, who needs to do what on Sunday, who needs to do what on Monday, and to make sure everybody's that's in the reckoning to play is ready to play. What was key about the game on Saturday also was the substitutions made a difference. So Alex made the first goal, Jim made the 3rd goal. So that shows that the players that are coming on the pitch are also contributing, which is massive to any successful team.
Is that when the planning for the next game starts, and it's pretty much as soon as you get on the coach on the way back from Barnet and you're already discussing, planning, looking ahead?
Yeah, because if you rest on your laurels and you enjoy the moment too much in terms of taking your foot off the gas, then you'll get caught out at Maidenhead. So we have to fully respect the next opponent. It's game day -3 since we're on the coach. So on a normal week, if we're working or playing on a Saturday, work will be being done on a Wednesday evening. So it's no different. That's just the role, and that my staff are fully behind it. We work very closely together in a multidisciplinary way. One of the most important aspects is the physicality. So how much intensity did we play with? So I get the statistics from the Barnet game straight away. Jordan does a great job on that and gives me all the information I need to be able to pick the right team on Tuesday evening. But the most important thing is there's a belief in the squad. Like I said, the subs make a difference. You can not be in the squad at all and play. I've shown that in my tenure. So the players that are not involved at all have got to be ready. And we need to make sure we reach the same intensity levels like we did at Barnet.
What do you expect from Maidenhead?
It's a massive challenge. They're in a really false position. They've had a lot of injuries themselves, and then players are starting to come back now, and a very experienced manager that know the pitch. So yeah, we're expecting a massive challenge there. It's going to be a big physical challenge because of the way they play. There's no holy grail of playing if that's the route they want to go in terms of their philosophy. No problems. We need to combat that. We need to make sure we're strong, defend the 18-yard boxes really well. And I'm sure we've got the talent to score goals, which we have done on the road all season.
Many thanks, James. All the best tomorrow.
Thanks, Rob. Okay.
Morning, James.
Hiya, Ian.
Has the Chelsea game in the new year given you the opportunity to sort of reset the clock in terms of the run that you've had so far and all the matches you've got in front of you?
No, I don't think so. I think we've been pretty focused from the start of the season. The results have reflected that. No, we go next game, one game at a time. Sorry. So, like I said, as soon as the Barnet game finishes, I'm straight onto Maidenhead. But part of that Maidenhead planning is the reflection on Barnet and watching the game back and how can we improve individually and collectively. So it's no different. Nothing's changed. Whoever the opponent is, whether it's Chelsea or Maidenhead, the same respect will be given to the opponent, and we go in there to try and win the game.
Well, a good result against Barnet. What was your assessment, having had time to reflect on it?
I think that it was a really strong away performance. Every team's going to have a spell at some stage in the game, especially when you're on the road in the National League. It's important that you see those moments out, which we did before the end of the first half, where they came strong. I think that set it up perfectly for us to win the second half and win the game. We have done really well away from home. I think it's because other teams have to come out a little bit more at home, and it leaves a lot of space in behind. And I think we've been ruthless in the space behind this season.
Obviously, the perennial question's always been injuries, hasn't it? Are there any updates on maybe some of the longer-term injuries?
Which ones in particular? Have you got any ones that you want to discuss?
Well, mainly perhaps like Hayden Hollis and Tom Denton, who we think perhaps towards the end of the season. Is there any likelihood that we might see them again?
I think I mentioned, probably not with you, that Hayden's season's finished, so he won't be coming back till pre-season. Obviously, his contract expires in the summer as well, so that's something we need to think about closer to the time. He's a very, very talented boy in terms of what he brought to me before his injury. Many clean sheets that he was a part of, and he's a leader in there. And look, he's going through a tough time at the moment, but we're holding his hand through that and guiding him so he can come back stronger. In terms of Tom will be available again in February. Again, I need to assess him when he comes back into full training in about 10 days' time. Where is he at? Does he need a loan, or can he contribute immediately to the first team? So on those two, George Carlyon, we're still looking at March. He's on track. Everything's okay in terms of his operation and his recovery from that. And Jack Clark's season's finished.
So overall, it's still looking pretty good.
Well, yeah, if Tom can come back and make an impact this season, I think that would be a real plus for us. He brings his own weapons to the game, doesn't he? He's clear what he can contribute, and I think that's something we haven't got in the squad at the moment.
We got Maidenhead next, and despite their position, never an easy match, is it? What can we expect?
Real tough physical game, really organised, ask questions of you, cause mayhem around your 18-yard box that we need to be aware of, and they're in a false position. They've had many injuries themselves, and it's been disjointed, but they're starting to pick up some form now. Aldershot equalised halfway through the second half, so they picked up a good point on the road there in an informed Aldershot, and they beat Bromley obviously 2-0 before that as well, so they're in a good space, and it'll be a tricky place to go tomorrow.
You mentioned injuries there, just as a final thing. Do you think that this sort of spate of injuries that so many clubs seem to have suffered is down to just the COVID and the stop-start nature, or the pressure of Saturday, Tuesday?
It's my belief that such was the intensity of last season, and such was the intensity of the fixture list and the short break in the summer. I think it's catching up on everybody now, and I think that in the first half of the season there's been an incredible amount of injuries, especially calf injuries that's the pattern across the National League. There's been a hell of a lot of calf injuries. I think the reason for that is the intensity of the fixtures in the 2021 season. So we're paying the price for that now, but I think we might have come over that hill now, and hopefully in the second half of the season more players can be fit, because we want the best players on the pitch. You want to, as a player, you want to test yourself against the best players as well to improve. If you've got that mindset to improve every day and improve as a team, you want to beat the best. So hopefully more teams can get more players fit in the second half of the season, and it's shaping up to be a really exciting season at both ends of the table.